Welcome to Elements of Style, a podcast about how style communicates meaning across culture, history, and daily life, and how those ideas shape real wardrobes. I'm your host, Imani, and I think a lot about how we live in our clothes, the language of style, and how personal wardrobes hold narrative power. I'm joined today by my dad, Dr. Sean Hubbard. He's a neurologist, entrepreneur, content creator, and philanthropist. But he's also always approached style as a creative practice meant to be shared. With deep curiosity, great stories, and a sharp eye for culture, this podcast grew out of our ongoing conversations. In this episode, we ask, is fashion forward still about the future? We examine the renewed relevance of Ralph Lauren, the elegance of Rama Duwaji's public image, and the creative hands shaping today's defining fashion moments. Along the way, we reflect on our own journeys through past silhouettes and future aspirations. With that in mind, let's get on with the episode. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, Imani. That's how I usually introduce myself to you when you call. Imani, I'm glad to be here and looking forward to what we can contribute and share like we would ordinarily be doing anyway on a Sunday evening. So this would be fun. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, this will be fun. I'm excited. So we're going to start with our first segment, Cultural Catalysts. We're just talking about what's relevant, what's making an impact. I first wanted to talk about the Ralph Lauren Fall/Winter Milan show. I think it's really interesting that a brand that really cherishes heritage and tradition is still so relevant, and kind of what that means, what the culture's seeking by like still wanting to tap back into that aesthetic and align themselves with that kind of imagery. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you chose polo, like, Ralph Lauren specifically. 1986, everybody had to have like a polo shirt. It was either a polo or, there was another one, but, go there. And then we also had the cologne. And so that's just one of those brands that's always
yes.
been here. So I appreciate that. Feels like, we're connecting again on some other brand level. But what caught your attention recently?
So, what caught my attention was the angle. I saw an article by CNN that was titled like Gen Z are present at this Polo Ralph Lauren show. And I just think, yeah, what does that mean that a Gen Z is still aligning with stuff that I've seen my whole life? And I think a lot of the secondhand culture, like a lot of the thrifting, and people are really in the fast fashion space. People are really, really, really desiring quality, and people really are looking back and thinking about construction and how practical and sturdy a lot of clothing was, and really, really wanting quilted jackets and sort of throwing back to beautiful things like Western attire. It has that practical and the beautiful and romantic elements in it. Sort of, yeah, like Western attire is like beautiful, sturdy leather and suede, but also just really tooled, and there's still beauty to it, and people are really, I think, really wanting that, really coveting those pieces. And so they're still honoring all of that in their shows currently, and people are really desiring that right now. And also with the home decor, they're still relevant. For Christmas, people were desiring that, like wanting to have throwback, like nostalgic Ralph Lauren Christmas, and being beyond just like purchasing a pillow with the polo bear on it, but just kind of, wow, I wish I had a blanket someone's grandma knit, like having something priceless like that.
That's excellent. And I mean, we have to give the brand a nod itself for maintaining relevance over
Yeah.
decades. At first it was just a dude on a horse, and it was really
Yeah.
small, and then all of a sudden it was like, not just for rich people, um,
Yeah.
but now it's for people that were more popular. And, I think there was like a bear at some point.
Yeah, the
Uh,
polo bear.
the
Yeah.
polo bear, like, where
People
did he come from?
I love the polo bear. It's so cute,
I mean,
but
he's cool,
yeah.
but the
But
quality, as you mentioned,
yeah.
has been unquestionable. You get your hands on a polo and it's going to last forever.
Yeah.
And even when it's raggedy and torn, you're still rocking some style when you pull that out,
Yeah,
you
it
know.
wears in well, yeah. Yeah.
Now, you used a
That's
term that is new to me,
mhm.
fast fashion. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I don't know what it is, but I like it and I want it. What does that mean?
No, so well, actually, so really, I think, now that you mention it, it's interesting to think about like that does sound desirable. Fast fashion is basically actually what's interesting about fast fashion is menswear has been slower to the fast fashion environment. I
Hmm,
think menswear, because of its desire to stay practical and durable, um has been less influenced by the fast fashion culture, whereas women's wear, you could easily go to the store, go to the mall, go online and purchase something pretty affordable and trendy. um but it's sort of just like for a few occasions, and it's like varying qualities of
hmm,
stuff and produced who knows where. But
excellent.
yeah, I think menswear has actually resisted that for a lot of time, and just now is being influenced by fast fashion. Men's denim is just a little better. The shirting, the buttons, like the emphasis on being practical and durable
Practical and
has
durable.
saved menswear just a little bit for it in terms of, you know, having it impact the quality. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't know. For me, that's like such a term that people are like, no more fast fashion.
Oh, that's
Um,
funny. I mean, as you
yeah,
describe it, what it reminds me of, like, some educational institution which is has always been there and doesn't really want to change. It was cool 50 years ago, 100 years ago. It's still desirable now, and a lot of these types of fashions fit in that space.
yeah. It's interesting. The culture of stuff right now. Another thing I wanted to sort of mention, I think the thing also about Ralph Lauren
Hmm.
is the kind of lack of pretension, really. It's like very accessible aesthetics. You know exactly where somebody would be wearing all of these clothes. They're not avant-garde in the way of like, who's purchasing that? Who's wearing that? Where as other fashion houses they sort of, I mean, and it's great to be um contemporary and artful, but you know Ralph Lauren has things, where someone would wear them, exactly where someone would live in these pieces. So there's also a sort of, I don't know, endearing and sincere quality to the aesthetic. It's sort of a very clear to me what people are desiring right now. But
That
yeah.
is so amazing now that you mention that, because there's an idea that in order to stay relevant, that we have to change and adjust. But at the same time, you're saying about Ralph Lauren is that there's something classic about it. They change just enough, but they also maintain their meaning. They maintain their relevance and their value in this meaningful way. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so. The current creative director right now,
Okay.
his name is James M. Jeter.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, he is like the first Black creative director at Ralph Lauren, and I think he really has done a great job in this show of honoring those ideas and bringing them like, and yeah, keeping them very current for this collection. Ralph is still on the board as like an executive creative chief, but this collection, like the creative direction, is done by James M. Jeter, and it feels seamless to me. The ideas, and yeah, it feels completely seamless. I think it's still relevant. We're still loving it.
Did anything catch your attention in particular? Was it men's fashion? Was it something seasonal?
I always love um I always love nods to the American West in his collections. He's done a lot of making sure to hire native artists as well. There's something about suede and leather work to me that I just always covet and would love to have more of. But he has so many collections like just to that, and there's always nods to that. But yeah, I think we have a share like an aligned love of that. I feel sometimes I see Ralph Lauren and I'm like, that's my kind of guy. Like I think I understand him. I really like his point of view. But yeah.
That's awesome. So last year, a little bit more than a year ago, I came across a Ralph Lauren sweater, a navy blue sweater, and it has the American flag on it. And it's pretty bold, but it's just enough to let you know that it's a Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I happen to be coming from out west too. And, I think the whole picture of it, the whole presentation of it, in the airport, multiple people were stopping me and saying, "Oh, I love that sweater. I love that sweater. I love that sweater," and it's just a
Yeah.
navy blue sweater, bold, with the American flag. And it's just like it's Ralph Lauren, but I think probably everybody knew it.
Yeah. Ralph Lauren is one of the only people that could have me wearing an American flag around, which is like, I really awesome, like really amazing. I think, yeah, there's something to that. There's something really to that, but I
I
don't know. I
appreciate
love
that you
his,
said the quiet part out loud.
yeah. I don't know. There's something about his version. I think
Yeah.
even in him doing the 2022 Morehouse and Spellman like nods to Black Collegiate, there's something so well-rounded
Mm,
about his idea of American aesthetics and honoring American culture and life that like I'm totally on board with aligning myself with, which is not not even normal for the rest of,
at this time.
American, yeah. So yeah, I think there's something really to that that I find really engaging and endearing.
Excellent.
But yeah, yeah.
We share something
Yeah.
else. Another thing we share.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. That feels like a perfect I because I also wanted to talk about Rama Duwaji and Mamdani. But yeah, last week he was sworn in and then she like made all these waves with her coat and her boots and her just aura. Which I'm like so drawn to her.
I think you might have to clue some people in on exactly who we're talking about. Just
Oh, the mayor of New the mayor of New York, the first lady of New
the
York.
first lady. She got her own statement that she's making, and you're hearing it loud and clear. But
Yeah,
yeah, I hear you.
so she had a thing article with the cut that came
Uh-huh.
out that was like amazing. And then also, yeah, her outfits at the inauguration in New York last week. But that was so yeah, I
I
think
love that.
there's there's just such a beautiful symbol of like I don't know. I would like to align myself with that. Like they're really doing not just beautiful image making, but they're like really out loud with championing other people and doing beautiful work. But it's also really intentional image making and posturing, which I'm like, you know what? In this era right now, I really appreciate some attention to detail and coherence with what we're
I
seeing.
love it. I love it. Let me ask, have you heard her give an interview or anything like that?
I've read I have read more than I've heard her speak, which is really interesting.
Wow.
I have read
Yeah.
some older things,
Yes.
and her interview for The Cut. Um, but I have read more than I've actually heard. And I think there's also something to that. Because I did see somebody saying that. They're like, "Wait, have we actually heard her speak?" But I saw she was talking about her illustrative work.
Mhm.
I saw like one small video for like I forget what publication. It really her work is as well her illustrative work. She's like very clear with her ideals. So, I mean, they're political cartoons as well. Yeah, her stances are very clear.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an afterthought that, oh, wow, I'm not sure if I've heard her
No.
say anything, yet she's saying so much with how she shows up and her design and her look. and she's just saying a lot, you know. I mean, her voice is being heard all over the place, you know.
Exactly. Yeah,
So funny.
it is. I was thinking about sort of what some of her, because when I saw her, first, when I saw their wedding photos,
Hmm.
Mamdani and Rama, they had like a very New York courthouse wedding. I thought, which I don't know, it felt extremely strategic, but I really appreciated it. They have like pictures of them on the subway from their wedding. She's in like an extremely casual gown. It's like a bias cut, like it's not a wedding gown. But with the beautiful shawl, she just looks, um there's like a classic and approachable, and that is not the word, but it's very, it seems like they want to be interacting with the people and with the culture in a very explicit way of like, we are people in this city, like real people, really impacted, really wanting to make change in this. Like, there's nothing removed about their imagery. They're trying to be involved and engaged in the culture. Um, yeah, but I really appreciate it. I think it's very effective.
I think it's very effective too. I mean, because, you know, I had to think about it myself. There was a feeling that I knew her, and then I
Hmm.
thought, oh, wow, wait a minute. Why do I feel like that? Oh, I haven't even heard her
Exactly.
voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The imagery is
Yeah.
working.
It is working extremely well. There's something about her people, like, she always looks like she knows something we don't know also. There's something about her expressions and her eyes. People are actually like comparing her to a little bit of Princess Diana with the charm. She's like extremely beloved, so it's like that's a
Wow.
crazy comparison.
That's a
But
crazy
yeah.
comparison. Wow, you
So
go. And we're just at the beginning.
exactly. It's very exciting.
We'll have to keep her not too far so we can talk more in depth as the story unfolds. And
Exactly. Um but I can't wait to see like what she does. I was very inspired by the whole process of the cut. Her editorial for the cut. I think for that being her first ever modeling and editorial, it's extremely iconic. And it feels very relevant, very contemporary. And I really think part of it is due to her having hands in like some of the image making with her own style, and also the work of the fashion director at the cut, Jessica Willis, who is extremely fashion forward and extremely contemporary, extremely relevant to me. I don't know, she has done so much work, and as I was looking at her Instagram, there's something so sculptural and contemporary about her eye, that feels, yeah, just relevant is the word to me. Relevant, fast, fashion forward, just extremely iconic image making with her working with Kendrick Lamar. As well, she did styling for his Super Bowl performance in the "They're Not Like Us," which was, you could not escape that song and that imagery
right.
last year.
That's
So
right.
her hands are like really firmly in the culture. She just
Mm,
feels to me like extremely forward and relevant, her
excellent.
imagery. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's more to
Hmm.
keep our eye on. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that you keep me up to date on some of what I'm seeing. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, I'm watching these, I'm seeing what you're talking about, but I don't know who's behind it, who's creating it, whose ideas they are or have been, and who's collaborating. So I thank you for mentioning.
It's exciting for me to watch. So I'm like, I feel extremely excited about where we're going with fashion wise, image wise.
Excellent. Oh, good.
Yeah.
You make me excited about it.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go to our next segment in the lab, which is basically anything that in our personal wardrobes and our personal histories that we're sort of looking at and working on practical ideas, or aspiring towards. And I wanted to talk about an experience I had very recently. I actually, my brother, your son, he had kind of given me these Champion sweatpants a few years ago, and I had been for my entire like middle school, high school life very anti sweatpant. Um, I'm sort of I can be a little formal sometimes, especially in past. I want real fastens, real buttons. I have like an aversion to anything extremely spandex waistband. So I I had been
Anything
I
floppy
yeah,
also?
just floppy and not structured. I didn't like that at all. So naturally a little bit I didn't see where a sweatpant would ever come into my wardrobe. But so he had given me these gray, like a heather gray, not my favorite. Um he was actually throwing them out actually. He didn't give them to me, but I grabbed them because I was they just look so thick and comfortable. And I put them on and there was something about the drape of the cotton. It was so thick and the fit to me was exactly it's sort of billowy in the leg, sort of, yeah, just billowy and thick and heavy. And
Uh-huh.
so I really was attached to them. I don't even like the color, and there's something about the fit of it that I was just obsessed with, and I like wash them every week, and I can't wait to put them back on. They like actually became a crutch a little bit at times, and
Wow.
so I wanted to. And since then, it's been like 2 years. I've only added one other pair of sweatpants, which is a Gildan heavy cotton sweatpant that I got at the thrift store, but it had a very similar fit. So naturally, I've just been abusing those two pairs, and I wanted to, for Christmas, get a new set. So that's what I asked mom for Christmas. And I looked on the tag of the sweatpant and I like searched it up and I tried to get the exact same model because I was like, I have no notes. Like these are the sweatpant for me. Like they're perfect. So I tried to purchase the same thing. And so it came ordered. I saw it sitting under the tree. I was like, too excited to have like new crispy pairs. I got a black and a dark gray, like that is in my preferred color palette.
Uh-huh.
But and then I open it up
No.
immediately no.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was devastated. They feel completely different. They're not as heavy. The fleece feels flimsier. Even the tag itself was smaller, less information, not embroidered. Like so much of the quality and the density of the cotton, it was
Um,
supposedly the same fabrication too. Like supposedly the same like percentage of heavy cotton, but
uh-huh.
I think they're lying because I was devastated actually, and I put it on, fit completely different,
Wow.
tighter in the leg, tighter in the ankle, the rise was completely different. Just I was disturbed like to the point where I grabbed my measuring tape and I like started measuring. I wanted to see exactly what happened and like there's actually like 2 extra inches in the front seam because I was like, what's this weird bunching is
Right.
doing? They're just completely unflattering.
And you order them for
Um
men, of course.
yeah, yeah.
Everything
'Cause
the same.
they're called the same thing. They're the same fabric composition.
Right.
They're used to be manufactured in Honduras. Now they're manufactured in Vietnam.
Ah.
But it just everything, even the tag had less information about care. The care, they just absolutely went out the window. But
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
completely devastated. But yeah, that's
What a nuisance.
I know, but basically what I got from that was now I know my perfect sweatpant measurements. So no more misses. No more misses. I know my perfect inseam, my perfect front seam, like how I want it to fit in the ankle. I have words now because I can't take another fail. Like that really upset me.
And you were waiting for it for so
I
long,
was
you know,
waiting.
under the Christmas tree, all the extra research and effort.
Yep. Yeah, just devastated. Yeah,
Wow.
now I know.
And so
But
how are
yeah.
you going to replace them? I mean, have you worked on getting another pair since then?
Um, I
Or
really
is it
think
just
I will
going to be a
have.
memory of how it was?
So during my research, like my sort of frantic efforts, I had seen that the influence came a lot from Like what changed in the design besides the manufacturing change was because these were really old, was like the prevalence of the jogger
Hmm.
fit,
Yeah.
which still kind of people still kind of like that, which
Yeah.
has a higher waist and a thinner leg.
Hmm.
And so now that I have the measurements, simply will just be going in store and trying things. I mean, the fit is so clearly wrong on me
Mm.
when I
Hmm.
when I put it on. No more ordering unless I can see like exact measurements of stuff. No more ordering online. I think for me with the sweats.
You know, I appreciate this conversation for a couple of reasons. One is that when you said the word sweatpants, I was like jarred for a while because I grew up calling those sweatpants,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden I didn't see sweatpants anymore. And I started seeing joggers, and then we had
Yes.
sweatshirts, and all of a sudden I didn't see sweatshirts anymore. I started seeing hoodies, and for a while, I think it was like Steve Harvey or something selling hoodies. And I was like, what happened to sweatshirts? We just renamed everything, but you're describing a subtle difference between sweatpants and joggers. And so I can
Yes.
appreciate this entire conversation.
Yes, I think that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened because these were like older sweatpants. Because actually these like Heather Gray Champion sweatpants that I
Yeah.
am obsessed with. The first time I put them on, I I had this idea that I looked like I was in the 80s. So I was like, there's something about the fit of this that I just love. And so I was like, I need more of these. Ultimately didn't was only able to find like a
Oh
one
my
similar pair,
God.
but really the cut, the trends have really made that cut sort of really hard to find.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
one more thing. I appreciate what you're saying, but also we grew up calling our sneakers, what we call sneakers now, tennis shoes.
right.
And
Oh,
uh,
yes.
all of a sudden they became sneakers. And so, but anyway, yeah, things change and we rename things. And then they really change, not just the name, but the actual fit and our ability to get those old looks that we were enjoying.
Yeah, I think what has really come to mind is so I think one of the big reasons when I was in middle school and high school, a lot of the what was happening image wise for in like men's fashion, and that was really shaping a lot of the fit for streetwear and that sort of like lounge and athletics sort of fit
Hmm.
was a brand Fear of God and Yeezy like Kanye and Yeezy and also Balmain, and they had like these exaggeratedly tapered legs and a longer line for men's like it's sort of actually the aesthetic was very extreme.
Hmm.
But then of course the like extreme proportions when they trickle down into the average wearer sort
Hmm.
of make no sense.
All right.
And then we end up with like people wearing skinny jeans that have no business sort of like they don't make sense for the outfits that they're wearing, and that's just what ends up being the cut of pant on the market, and you are actually struggling to get around it,
Right.
because we're not even so it really not being able to find things in different rises and different cuts of leg, for what fits you best is really it's really challenging, but I especially me, I did not like any of my jeans for, like, 7 years. Like,
Wow.
because
Skinny
because
pants were not your
I
thing?
couldn't find no, I could no. I really love I hated it actually.
Yeah.
Um, so I really like a billowy leg. I actually just feel more proportionally, like, personally, with, like, a sort of wider leg, but yeah, I it actually was hilarious to me the day I realized, like, I didn't feel comfortable for, like, 7 years.
And everyday jeans.
Yeah, just said the jeans I got from the mall. That was just what was
Right.
there. Yeah.
Hilarious.
But yeah,
So what are you looking forward to?
um, I'm looking forward to Really, I copied a lot of the same silhouettes, just in different things. So I the same way I'm looking to replace those Champion sweatpants with like a black pair I can wear comfortably, like to run out to the grocery store. I'm also looking for a more exaggerated, billowy, thick leg in a trouser as well, which I really have
Oh,
only found in when I go to this Goodwill and go to the men's section. So yeah,
oh,
I have to go. They in New Jersey they actually shut the fitting rooms. They closed them all in the Goodwill, so it really is a little scary. I have to
oh, and
take
that
my measuring
Goodwill.
tape. I have to take my measuring tape with me. But I mean, I have to a lot for my pants. I have to go to menswear a lot. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm cooking up in here. Little just getting the measurements for. I have to be very exact, I think. So yeah,
that's a challenge.
it's silly, but yeah. But yep. What about you? What have anything you've been thinking about or working on with or aspiring to?
Yes, interestingly, I am making some transitions life-wise, I would think. And so that definitely influences my gear and how I'm showing up. Somehow, well, right now I'm a practicing physician. I show up in front of people in the hospital every day, and so I need to be taken seriously. I need to look like I came prepared. And so that influences how my clothes look. You know, I want my clothes to look prepared. I want them to look intentional. I want them to look like I'm somebody who cares, um, and somebody who wants to be there, you know, and they're not
Right.
struggling and rushing to go somewhere else, you know. And so I want to say all of that. But also, I'm kind of leaning towards some administrative posts, and I want to be able to communicate with administrators, but I want to be able to have the same sort of collaboration with colleagues that I work with. So I need to be able to have a fit that is dynamic, you know, something that is bilingual, you might say. So I find
Yeah, I
myself
like that.
wearing collars more, and I'm definitely ironing more. I don't really want to wear a tie at all, but I don't want to look boring because if I show up with just a collared shirt on, it does look boring without something that says, you know, a little bit extra. And so that's kind of what I've been working on. I've been definitely setting up my outfits earlier, like a week in advance, 8 outfits ready to go. But now I wake up in the morning, I just pick my shoes and belt and socks and then ready to rock, you know? So that's kinda how I'm
Yeah.
showing up these days.
How do you decide like did you had what you needed to make a clean 8? Did you have to like were you referencing yourself and like how you wanted to the things in your closet that you wanted to pull out to sort of get you where you were going, or did you have a certain different inspiration, or sort of just the lay of the land was kind of where did what how did you decide what pieces you pulled for that aesthetic?
Yeah, well, so I've been collecting down through the years and making adjustments, so that I have, let's say, a certain set of pants that give me variety, and so I'm gonna have kind of a khaki look. That's gonna be like a light white khaki, and then there's gonna be, like I did a green one, this week, an olive that was a hit. And so that was like 3 days right there. I did a blue, a navy, and so then I was able to put a shirt with a collar with that. It was cold for a couple of days, and
Oh,
I needed to show up with a, a cardigan sweater, which I wore in there, so that kind of gave me some layering, some contrast
nice.
that I didn't plan, you know, and so, but it got cold. I wore it in, and then I took that off, and I put my lab coat on. So some flexibility, some dynamicity, and but definitely being able to communicate with both sides. I think that's kind of a lot of what I'm doing now that I think about it. A lot of women like um, my neckerchief. That's what it's actually called.
Hmm.
And they're like, I like your little thing,
Right.
ascot, people say,
Yeah.
and so, so in some ways, what I'm saying is that I'm able to communicate with women in one way because they look and they see one thing, and then the guys, they'll say, they like my shoes, kind of thing. So basically, a lot of how I'm showing up and a lot of what I'm doing going forward will be how do I communicate some similar messages to everybody that here's a person who thought about what he was going to wear and he's prepared.
Right.
He likes being here, but also some of the elements speak to different people. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
having a
love
good time,
that.
actually.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's funny. I think yeah, that sort of that's a great idea. I love the idea of bilingual in as like a way to structure like how you're thinking about stuff and appealing to different goals and priorities when when you're styling. I think that's very I like that idea a lot. I think that's cool. I'm stealing that.
Yours.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think it's actually snowing right now
Whoa.
on like thickly on the ground. But I haven't
What is snow? No, I'm kidding.
yeah, it's snowing. I think yeah, a lot of times trying to be practical and also trying to um yeah, trying to have like many different layers and goals in one outfit at the same time. It feels like a constant sort of balancing of trying to, you know, what am I gonna tweak here and here to sort of get that nice balance of practicality and expression and sort of, expressing what different ideals at the same time. But that is cool. Yeah, I definitely like that idea. That's cool.
Sweet, sweet. Well, I love
Feeling.
this discussion. I have to say that, when I was your age, no, actually younger, but there was about 6 years between 22 and 28 that my favorite show was Style by Elsa
Yeah.
Clinch, and it was on CNN. And I just love, I mean, I'm telling you, it was my absolute favorite show to watch. And I said that to many people. And then it went off, you know.
Right.
And then you were born.
And you
And so,
told me that too, right?
yeah. And so then you were born. I mean, I was like 28, And so then, when you started to develop your passion for the subject, I thought, oh, wow, maybe there's hope.
That's so funny.
So thank you for this whole opportunity.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, this is fun because I know I get a lot of the structural ideas from things you've done and tried and I've seen you do and seen you be very intentional. Um, Practically and aspirationally and see it work out and you move and just sort of grow and change and I think it really allows me to have a lot of fun as well. So I think these are like I'm excited to talk to you about these sort of things because you do it with you make these pivots sort of and I've always been like, you know what, yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, I like it. So
Let's do it. Let's do it.
yeah,
Keep
this
the
is fun.
conversation going. That's excellent.
Yeah, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for
Yeah, this
having
is
me.
fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again
Yeah,
and see what's going on. See who's making statements, the catalysts,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
see
that was
what
fun.
else is in the lab.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It'll
Okay.
be fun.
Alrighty, yeah.
All right. Love
Okay.
you.
Love you too.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Elements of Style. This is really a labor of love, and I'm learning so much already. Feel free to share your thoughts or your own style experiments in the comments, and yeah, thank you so much.